Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bricks and Bleachers podcast. All things Chicago Cubs in under 10 minutes. A hot month of May has propelled the Cubs to the top of the National League Central. Cubs injuries are quite numerous. We'll recap and we'll preview what's ahead for the Cubs with the arrival of the month of June. Let's look at where the Cubs are right now. A record of 30-23, half game ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals. If you went to bed early last evening, you may not have heard that, as the Cardinals fell in Los Angeles. It was really a tough couple of weeks for the Cubs to begin the season, but they have put up impressive numbers in the month of May, a 19-8 record. Last time the team won 19 games in one calendar month was September 2017. Cubs outscored their opponents by 46. They played 25 consecutive games without losing by multiple runs. That's the longest streak for a National League team since the 1916 Giants, although the Cubs streak came to an end on Sunday. Quick look back at the weekend saw the Cubs take 2 of 3 against the Cincinnati Reds. A solo home run from David Bote, the only run production of Friday's game. Cubs won 1-0. Adbert Alzolay picked up his third win of the season, and Craig Kimbrell sealed it with his 12th save. Then on Saturday, one of the better outings we've seen from Zach Davies, but he was unable to record any outs in the 6th inning. He left the game with a 2-0 lead. Reds would put up 2 runs in that inning, but that was it. Cubs bullpen to the rescue, as we've seen so many times this year. And the Cubs bats came alive late. A 10-2 win on Saturday. Jake Arrieta struggled for the Cubs on Sunday, and the offense was shut down too as the Reds avoided the sweep, handing the Cubs a 5-1 loss. As mentioned earlier, it's the Cubs' only loss in May of more than 1 run. That's impressive. And now the beginning of a tough stretch for the Cubs. 10 games in a row against the top teams in the National League, all from the National League West. A 3-game set at Wrigley Field with the San Diego Padres, then 4 in San Francisco and 3 in San Diego, with a rematch of the Padres next week. Cubs victorious on Memorial Day, 7-2 winners over the Padres. Cubs relied upon another young pitcher in that one. Cole Stewart starting in place of Trevor Williams, who was the latest Cubs player to land on the injured list. Stewart looked good, 5 innings, 1 run and 3 hits given up. Javi Baez homered twice. So did Patrick Wisdom, who's filling in at third base for Matt Duffy. Now let's look at the Cubs' injuries. They are numerous. As of Monday night, 12 players currently on the injured list. Anthony Rizzo has missed much of the past week too, but he is not on the injured list. These following guys are Trevor Williams, most recently added with appendicitis. I believe his stint on the injured list is retroactive to last Friday. David Bote dislocated a shoulder while sliding into second base over the weekend. Matt Duffy with back issues. Nico Hoerner, Jason Hayward, and Jake Marisnick are all stymied with hamstring issues. Same for Justin Steele out of the bullpen. Alec Mills with a back issue. Trevor McGill on the 10-day IL, and then a trio of players are on the 60-day injured list, including catcher Austin Romine, pitchers Rowan Wick, and Jonathan Holder. Keep in mind the 60-day IL players do not count against the 40-man roster limit. So you've got 9 of the 40-man active roster on the injured list. Rizzo injured 2. So depth is the name of the game for the Cubs. Good news is Hayward, Marisnick, and Rizzo all took part in pregame drills on Monday. And then just a short time ago, Anthony Rizzo said on Chicago radio he expects to be in the lineup tonight. So hopefully we'll see the Cubs regain some strength as they enter a difficult stretch of the schedule. We talked about 10 games in a row against the top teams in the National League. 9 of those games still remain, and only 2 off days for the Cubs in the entire month of June. A difficult stretch of the schedule and a lot of injuries. The month of June sure to be exciting and revealing. And if the Cubs continue to find ways to win, you've got to think they will be in a position to make moves in July to bolster the roster for the home stretch. Let's be real. Most did not expect that coming into this season, and also once the season got underway after the rough start to the year. But things are certainly trending up for the Cubs. And unless something changes, Cubs are going to have to win the division to get into the postseason, as the 2 wildcard spots in the National League all year have belonged to teams in the National League West. 2021 postseason so far looking like it will include the winner of the East, the winner of the Central, and 3 from the West, although it could end up being a combo of the East winner and 2 each from the Central and the West. This and that. A look at news and notes from around Major League Baseball. The Cubs are red hot, winners of 8 of their last 10, but the Tampa Bay Rays are the hottest team in baseball, 19-19 at one point in early May. They've since won 16 of 17. Their record in the month of May, 22-6. Big development in Los Angeles last night as the Cardinals starter Jack Flaherty left the game. While batting at the top of the 6th, he fouled a ball off his body, did not return in the bottom of the inning. Flaherty is 8-1 for the Cardinals through his first 10 starts. He's a big piece of their rotation, which has been hit hard already with injuries. Time will tell how impactful this one is for St. Louis. Fun for Chicago baseball fans. Both teams in the city are division leaders on June 1. Cubs are up by half a game on the Cardinals, while the White Sox lead the American League Central by 3.5. Capacity limits and COVID-19 restrictions are being eased at stadiums to various degrees. Cubs' capacity limit is now at 60%. That increase happened over the weekend for this current homestand. Crowds of 24,000 plus in attendance at Wrigley since Saturday. Let's look at what's ahead this week. Cubs and Padres continue their series Tuesday night. Padres at 34-21. Cubs are 30-23. And on Tuesday, it's Ryan Weathers, the starter for the Padres. Kyle Hendricks off a strong May for the Cubs going to the mound. 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Denelson LeMay versus Adbert Alzolay on Wednesday. That's a 2:20 Eastern start. Both games on Marquee Sports Network. Weathers and LeMay, both starters for San Diego, have trouble going deep into games. So look for the Cubs to try to strike early, both tonight and on Wednesday against the Padres. And then the Cubs head to San Francisco for 4 beginning Thursday night. Then 3 in San Diego will follow. Cubs then have an off day on Thursday, June 10, and then they come home for 3 against the Cardinals. As mentioned previously, Jude's going to be tough and interesting. Hey, bricksandbleachers.com is our website. All things Chicago Cubs on this podcast and on the website, too. We'll try to post some updates there in between episodes. Oh, and we're also now on Spotify. Wanted to get one more big podcast platform, and there we go. We're now on Spotify. So subscribe to this show on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get yours so you never miss an episode of the Bricks and Bleachers podcast.